South Park: The Stick of Truth is a game turkey-stuffed full of South Park references that'll make a fan squeal with delight, involving them in their favorite show with their favorite characters. And for newcomers, it comes off as a very charming and original satire comedy RPG adventure that'll make even non-fans reconsider giving the show a second chance. If you're looking for something new, don't really expect much with this South Park iteration, as they more so go with pre-existing characters and scenarios already built into the show. But that isn't necessarily a bad thing. For avid viewers, it's an exciting callback. For non-viewers, it's wacky, random, and interesting, on the level of Conker's Bad Fur Day.
I'm going to throw my at you.
And Earthworm Jim. You start out as the silent new kid.
Yeah, we love you too.
And can customize your character's appearance any way you choose. Sooner or later, your character, which Cartman names Douchebag,
Douchebag did you,
winds up on an adventure inspired by Skyrim and Game of Thrones. Continuing the tradition with recent episodes of the show, like the Console Wars and Black Friday, there is a war between two sides, Kenny and Cartman's and Stan and Kyle's. And similar to the Imperial and Stormcloak situation in Skyrim, you must choose a side. The game really looks like a high production, or as high of a production you can get with a digital construction paper look, South Park episode. It does a good job making you feel as if you're in the game, and is light years above the quality of the small-scale Nintendo 64 games of yore, such as the FPS game, the rally game, and the trivia game. And I'm sure to some they were good at the time, but honestly, I mean, they weren't that great. And even the creators think they weren't that great. And finally, over 10 years later, the creators were able to pull off a complete game to this extent, not some cheap minigame, and I think they're happy with that. Playing the PC version of the game, I experienced only a few freezing and texture glitches, and nothing nearly as bad as other critics are complaining about. The very few glitches I encountered were pretty hilarious and weird, like this one.
This is the that doesn't end. Yes, it goes on and on, my friend. Some people started in it not knowing what it was, and they'll continue in it forever just because. This is the that doesn't end. Yes, it goes on and on, my friend.
That's enough, guys.
Some people started in it not knowing what it was, and they'll continue in it forever just because this is.
The game is built as a traditional Japanese RPG with a turn-based fighting system that is well developed and it really grows on you. The combat system is way better than some recent big-budget RPGs I have seen. You start out by picking one of 4 classes, and those classes decide what your special ability will be, and that's about it. Everything seems well balanced for an average player, and for those hardcore RPG enthusiasts, there is an option to increase difficulty and make it more challenging for you guys. There's a cap on the XP level at 15, but that's okay and it seems just about right, as I hit that cap just before finishing the game and all of its side quests. The regular gameplay reminds me of the old Genesis game of Beavis and Butthead with a few innovations. There's just a lot to this game that keeps flashing me back to the old Beavis and Butthead game. It is the show's creator's biggest influence.
There's one show that influenced South Park. It was Beavis and Butthead.
So I can see why the game is so similar. 2D side-scrolling, exploration of memorable places, collecting random pieces of lore, farting all over everything. It's just great and never ceases to amuse. In fact, farting and poop humor is always funny. It'll never ever get boring. The game gives you the ability to fart, and in the combat it's called the Dragon Shout. It uses mana. While in the exploration, it gives you the ability to complete complex puzzles. You can also shoot down objects, break things to create new pathways, blow people up to avoid battles, and later on you get the option to teleport to areas previously unreachable. So as you can see, it's kind of a puzzle game and at the same time an RPG, so it's kind of cool and unique. The menu system is probably the biggest drawback and the biggest complaint I have with the game. It's designed as a primitive Facebook. While it's charming, it's a bit of a mess and hard to get used to. In fact, in order to stay current with your equipment, you'll need to navigate into the menu every 10 minutes to equip new pieces of armor or items and patches. And this gets to be a pain in the upper left back. You know that part where you can't quite rub because it's up there and it's just, ah! This system is present in most RPG games, but it's usually much more intuitive. In the menu, you can view a map with mission objectives and locations, as well as view messages from an ever-growing friends list. So that's kind of cool. I kind of get the idea of it, but in theory, it ended up being a lot better than it actually came out to be. The game allows you to switch out to 5 different companions, and only one of those 5 can join you in battle. There is a built-in currency system, and almost every item you loot, which is mostly humorous or callback references, can be sold. Pubes? Who the hell would buy pubes? Like, well, I'm sure if on eBay an old moldy sandwich or condom wrappers can be sold, then I'm sure there's an audience for this. But seriously, the cash goes towards purchasing new equipment and items, but more importantly can be used to get plastic surgery for hilarious results. Oh god, how did they think of this? Oh wait, there's an episode. The sound design and music are perfect, even better than the show. In fact, the music seems a little too good for South Park. Strangely, it is one of the best parts of the game. Sadly, there's no way to buy the soundtrack as it was never published, so you're out of luck until you find another way. But it is a perfect accompaniment to the battle sequences and exploration. It actually helps construct a living environment. I know, because without the music, at one point in the game, the music cut out due to a glitch, and it just wasn't the same. It was so empty. Like Raiden's room. His heart.
Rose?
No television set, no family pictures, not even a poster.
Rose, I only use that room for sleeping.
A lifeless room. Almost like your empty heart. Now, if you're not a fan of the overboard perverse nature of the show, you'd best stay away. At first I was saying the game was much tamer than the show or even the movie, but right after I said that, I ate my words. It boldly goes where no man has gone before, and into the extremes. As far as shrinking down and fighting gnomes on your parents' bed while they are doing it, then you must dodge your parents' privates. Like, it goes there, man. It's sick, but it goes there. It goes there. Forever scarred I am, but it's so over the top it's funny. That is, if it's your style of humor. The game can be fully completed in about 16 to 18 hours, and unfortunately some old characters don't make it. But that can be easily excused as the game is so full of South Park references. The game feels really rich and detailed. There's no denying it. It is quite apparent that the creators of South Park, Matt Stone and Trey Parker, are gamers that put their passion for video games into this one. As I hear, they worked closely for about 2 or 3 years with the development team at Obsidian Entertainment to create a game that played out like an actual episode. There's a lot of polish and charm in this game, and it's so fun. Unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of replayability. Not much changes with subsequent playthroughs. But like an episode of South Park, there's nothing wrong with revisiting some months down the line. If you are repulsed by South Park's sometimes crude humor, I'd recommend you stay away. But if you're borderline about the show or absolutely love the show, this is a recommended buy. No doubt about it, this game deserves a fist out of 5. Ha! Yeah.
This is Fungo, a Fungo review on the Fungo YouTube channel. And if you like what you just saw, comment, rate, subscribe, do what you gotta do that YouTube stuff. Send me feedback, I like feedback, email me at this email address right here. So thank you, and onward to more videos.